one of the best things that you can do as a young person growing up is to be right here where you are right now. Got to be more careful. I'm talking about from the youth in the choir stand, the youth doing some ushering, the young fella back there helping folks in the door, bringing them things, the youth who are helping to collect the offering, the youth who are doing this and doing that, and the youth that come over here to do the scripture and presiding, and the youth that do the prayer. That's one of the best things that you can do as a young person, let me tell you. Because when you go through things like Brother Tariq just explained, and you got that constant pull on your shoulder, that comes from these days right here, where you are in this choir stand, you over here, you're ushering, you're presiding. When the folks at church ask you to do something, you do it. Those are the seeds that Brother Tariq is talking about. And that's why Brother Tariq was able to overcome that obstacle. He was able to go through that adversity because he had that constant tap on his shoulder. And really, it was his brain and his spirit that knew who Jesus was. It knew who Jesus was. And it was a reminder like, hey, I'm still here. You know, God is sometimes just let you know, hey, I'm still here, but I'm not going to make you come to me. I'm going to give you the choice. You get the option. You understand? So, brother, I tell you, I don't know how I could follow that. But, man, it was so relatable. Brother, the stories that you told were so relatable, and the principles that you told us about were so true. Things that were true 50 years ago still true to today. So don't let social media fool you and think that the world has changed completely, because the word said that the grass withers and the flowers fade away, but the word of the Lord, hallelujah, Jesus. Listen, this is about the youth, and so with that, I want to ask the youth in the choir stand, if you will, can y'all come down to the front for me real quick, the front 1 or 2 rows, and also every young person in here that's under 100. I got a card for you that we're going to pass out while the youth are transitioning here. I got my wife and my mama that's going to help. If y'all can, just go to each side. If you did not get a card and you're less than 100 years old, if you will, just raise your hand for me. And keep your hands up. We're going to have them going to each side. And we're going to make sure that everybody gets one. I want to also give honor to God for my being here today. God, Jesus, who was the head of my life. I want to also give honor to my lovely wife, Kalita Virgil, who is always supporting me, as you can see, with that good old NC State shirt on. Don't hold it against her. We NC State around here. I'm going to do a little roll call real quick. I'm going to do a few sports teams. All right, let me start with the NFL right quick. Let's see. We got any Pittsburgh Steelers? Okay, all right. Let's see here. Any Carolina Panthers in the building? Okay. All right, let's see. Indianapolis Colts. Any Colts in here? I thought I saw a Colts jersey. Okay, well, I ain't leave nobody out, did I? All right, well, what? What you say, Bishop? Oh, Lord. Washington. We got a Washington Commanders, Redskins in here. Okay, I didn't leave nobody else out, did I? What, boys? Oh, we got any Cowboys fans in here? Man, y'all coming all the way from the music stand? Okay. I didn't see really many NBA jerseys. I did see a Chicago jersey, Chicago T-shirt. What are the NBA fans in here? Anybody that got an NBA jersey? Okay. Oklahoma City, Chicago Bulls. All right. Now, this one right here I know might cause a divide, but y'all still with me, college folks. Okay. How about Shaw University? Shaw U, Okay. How about North Carolina Central? Eagles. Okay. Duke University. How about Duke? We got any Duke University? Okay, Duke University. And then I'm gonna say the best for last. So I'm not at the last one yet, but we got the Carolina Tar Heels. Well, I'm not gonna hold that against you. Okay, we brothers. Okay, how about A&T? NCAT, Aggie Pride. Okay, let's see. Who I'm missing? Anybody from the HBCU that I did not mention? Any other college that is represented here. Yes, well, ECU, East Carolina Pirates, okay, and North Carolina Wesleyan, hey, and also, like I said, I was gonna say the best for last, NC State, baby, Woodpack. So, I give honor again to all of the pastors here, Pastor Jordan, my pastor, also Pastor Borkin. I want to give honor to the deacons, the mothers, all of the ushers of the original Free Will Baptist Conference, all of the choirs, the friends, saints, everyone, all of my colleagues that are here, my fraternity brothers that are here, some of my mentors that have traveled from afar to be here. Let me tell you a little bit about who I am real quick. So, Pastor Borkin already gave you some information. To give you a little bit more, I grew up in Mount Zion, original Free Will Baptist, right there on Lane Street. And Pastor Forbes was my pastor for the most of the time that, I was growing up. And I was always participating. Sister Cheryl Forbes, she always had the youth doing something. She would take us to CC's Pizza, and then we would go see a movie like every other month. She would have us going to New Jersey for the youth convention, Georgia for the youth convention, right here for the youth convention. She would have our Christmas plays, Easter plays, you name it. But that was the best time of my life there when I was planting those seeds that Brother Tariq was talking about, which helped me to overcome some of the adversities and some of the challenges that we'll kind of discuss today, all right? And I went to NC State, and I graduated, did not have a clue that I would become a teacher. But as God has a call on your life, he has a special purpose on everybody's life. You don't always know what it is, especially as a young person. You may not know yet, and it's okay if you don't know what the calling is on your life yet. Pastor Forbes used to always tell me, he said, Alec, you have a special calling on your life. And I didn't always know what he meant until I was older, maybe in my mid-20s. And now I reflect on it all the time. Pastor Forbes would always say, you have a special calling on your life. And he knew what he was talking about, especially for our young people right here in this conference. You have a calling on your life. And I want to ask you a question. Do any of you know Isaiah Wright? Have you heard of that name before? Okay. All right. So before we get into who Isaiah Wright is, I need you to do me a favor. And this doesn't only apply to the young people who are 21 and younger. It's also for young people that's 100 and younger. Okay, so you got 5 seconds, and I need you to do 2 things. I'll give you 10 seconds. I need you to do 2 things, all right? You're going to go up to 5 people, give them 2 fist bumps, and you're going to say faith and purpose. So it's like this, faith and purpose, faith and purpose. You got 10 seconds, 5 people, go. Now, I need you to find a partner real quick. Partner up with someone right quick. Time's up. Go ahead. Find your partner. Make sure you know your partner's name. Make sure you know your partner's name. And it's okay if you're with people who are next to you. It can be someone new. And I want you to do me a favor. I need you to come up with a unique handshake, like a special handshake. You know, LeBron James, he has a handshake for everybody in the NBA. So I want you to just take 30 seconds real quick. You can come up with your own handshake, your own greeting, whatever it is that you want. 30 seconds. And how would you greet each other if you were really excited? Go. $15 seconds. And time's up. Okay, now you have your handshake. Now, if you are able to get back to back with your partner, if you can kind of turn back to back with your partner, you can sit or you can stand up if you need to. All right, but I want you to be back to back to them right quick. And I want you to kind of move a couple feet apart if you can, kind of move out of the way of each other a little bit. And on the count of three, all right, this is what you're going to do. So just listen real quick. You're going to turn around, lean back, and you're going to say, oh, snap, there go my homie. Okay, or you can say, there go my homie, my road dog, my brother, my sister, my mama, my dad. Oh, snap, there go my mama. All right. And then you're going to go up to them and give them that handshake, all right, with that sunshine smile and excitement that you have, that spirit that's stirred up. Turn around, say, oh, snap, there go my homie, and then give them that handshake. Wait. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Yeah, that's right. Good. So now you have a partner. Okay? Now you have a friend. Hopefully someone that you can trust. If you just met them, then it's okay if you get their contact information. But here's how we're going to move forward. If you have a card, on the front of that card is an unscrambling activity. You got, I don't know, I'll give you maybe a minute or so to unscramble that word if you have not yet. Anybody does not have a card still? Okay. Are there any more? Okay. If there are not, then you can feel free to partner with someone. Turn around with someone who might have one. Help them out. You got about 30 more seconds to figure out what that word is. Got it? Okay. How many of y'all figured out your word so far? How many of you need a little bit more time? Okay, take about 15 more seconds. And time's up. Okay, y'all ready? Okay, stand or raise your hand if you have the word mercy. Okay, all right, look around, mercy folks. Okay, stand or raise your hand if you have spiritual. Okay, and you can sit down when worship. How many of you have the word worship? Okay. How many of you have transform? Okay. And what about mindfulness? Did y'all figure that out? Mindfulness. Yeah, that was a difficult one. But we got some smart folks in here. We're figuring it out. We're working together. That's what it takes. We don't have to do this journey alone. All right. And what about opportunity? Who has opportunity? Okay. Okay. And living God. How about a living God? We all should have living God. Okay. How about strength? Okay. Community. Okay. All right. And conversation. How many of you have conversation? Okay. I want you to consider, I would like for you to consider what these words mean. I want you to also understand, like Brother Tariq was saying, that your wellness journey is a journey indeed. It is not something that you will conquer overnight. It is not a sudden achievement. It's not something that just happens because you ask for it. It is a journey. It is indeed one that will take you up and it will take you down. All right, now I asked you earlier about the guy Isaiah. Now, Isaiah's story is similar to mine. Well, Isaiah is a character from a story that's based on real principles, real discipleship, and real mentorship. Now, this is coming from the lens of a young person who is 18 years old, just graduated from high school, but also we have an older mentor who is a very important character in this story. And I'll give you the abbreviated version. Isaiah. Isaiah was a young man who had just graduated from high school. His mother expected something of him, but Isaiah seemed to lack ambition. And so every day, Isaiah would be in his room. He had his door closed. He probably had his headphones on, and he was playing that game, the PlayStation, all day long. His mom would work all day, and then she would go to get groceries. She would then come home with the groceries in the car, needing an extra hand to help her, and Isaiah is doing what? Playing the game, all right? And then mom, she starts to get a little bit irritated with this consistent pattern that Isaiah is having over time. Now, I'm thinking to myself, why isn't Isaiah just doing the basic thing, like getting up to go help his mom with those groceries? It's not like he had to go to work. He didn't have to go to school. He could have just paused that game and went to help his mom get those groceries, right? You would think that that would be the natural thing that young people would do, is that when we see an older person that needs assistance, that we would just jump right in to help them. But that's not what we see today so much. I would just be honest with the young people, okay? Now, over time, as Isaiah's mom is steadily telling him, like, hey, look, you're playing the game all day. I come in here with groceries. You're not helping me. You're not bringing anything to the table. Either you're going to need to get a job, you're going to need to go to school, or go to, get something done. You need to do something, but you got to come out of that room. Isaiah's room was stinking because it was all messy. He didn't clean up. So his mama didn't really want to go into the room. Now, that's a shame. Your mama don't even want to go into the house that she owned or that she rent. She don't want to go into that room because you stinking. Shoot. So before I get into Isaiah even more, I want to read to you a few scriptures that pertain to our transforming of the mind and how we can renew our spirit. And when we're talking about mental wellness, my friends, mental wellness can have you upset, or mental decay can have you upset at seemingly nothing. You might start looking around like, why do I feel so low? I mean, this was me. I'm just speaking from personal experience. When I was in a season of depression for at least a year or two, more like 2 years, where I felt sad and I felt upset and angry. But there was seemingly no real reason. Nobody had done anything to me that suddenly made me upset. But this is how wellness works. It is a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not a sudden action. It is a consistent action. It's when things happen consistently and over time, and if you don't address these things, then they will become that heavy weight on your spirit. It will draw you away from the principles that you have learned when you have sat in the chairs, in the pews in this church. It will sort of draw you away from the people who actually want better for you, but you are like, nah, I can't do it. If people invite you to go out and hang out and you decide, nah, I'm good, I'm not. That was me. I'm good. I would just be in the house and in my shell. And honestly, I thought, you know what? Well, I'm a Taurus. I like to be in my shell, so that's what I'm going to do. Right? I thought that was the healthy thing to do. But how many of y'all know that wasn't so healthy? It wasn't healthy for me to just be in my house all day long, go to work, not really interact with people, and then come home, and I don't really want to talk to people on the phone. So the word is, I have a few scriptures for you, and if you look on your card, there might be a space for you to kind of jot this little note down. I want to give you a couple scriptures here. Romans 12:2, the word says, do not conform to the pattern of the world. Do not conform. Young people, what does conform mean? Anybody know what conform means? What does it mean to conform? If you're conforming to something, what are you doing? Say that one more time. You're becoming like something. You're starting to act like someone or a group of people. You're starting to behave like a group of people because who you hang around is who you become. And do not conform to the way of the world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, okay? Now, that's Romans 12:2. Now, I also have Psalms chapter 56, verse 3. All right, that says, when I am afraid, I put my trust in you. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear. He didn't give us the spirit to be timid or to be afraid, to be scary. He didn't give us that. He didn't give us that. Okay? He did give us power. He wants us to be of power. He wants us to be of love and of a sound mind. God doesn't want us to be in an unhealthy mental space. God doesn't want us to be broke. He doesn't want us to stay to ourselves because it is our human given right to have a community of people that you can connect to. It is our human right to be able to be healthy and to feel the joy. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6 through 7. The word says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he might exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. So we're back at Isaiah, right? So Isaiah, he starts to listen to his mom a little bit, but he also has three homeboys that have a car, and they keep pulling up on him like, yo, let's go play some basketball. Isaiah already been in the house all day doing nothing but playing the game. But then they say, yeah, let's go play some basketball. So like 4 out of 5 days in the week, he's out playing basketball. He's not going to get a job. He comes back. He's repeating that same pattern. And then he starts to wonder, like, what is wrong with me? Why does my mom keep saying these things to me? But more so, why am I starting to feel this heavy weight on me? What is it that I need to do about myself? So he decides that he would go look for a job. He did a responsible thing and made a choice because the choice was his. He went. He decided to get a job. So he gets a job at a factory. At this factory, there was a man who owned it. This man owned the factory. We're going to call him Joseph. And so Mr. Joseph, he was a gentleman. He was about 55 or so years old, and he saw some potential in Isaiah. And he started talking to Isaiah. He even introduced the scripture to Isaiah. Now, Isaiah did have a mother who knew God, but he had a grandmother who was behind the scenes praying for him all the time. And so this man took Isaiah under his wing. Isaiah got the job. Isaiah started to take responsibility at work. He even started to say, Mom, I made this amount of money from my paycheck. Let me give you a piece of it for the rent. He started to go out there and help her with the groceries and bring them in. So he was introduced to the scripture with someone who could relate to him. He also was now brought around other young men in the disciple group, men who had been through some adversities, men who had been arrested, but they have been forgiven. They have been asking for forgiveness. People who have lost, they were in groups with people who have lost their parents, people who have failed out of school. But this group got together and they realized that forgiveness is on the horizon. They realized that if we come together as brothers in a brotherhood, then we can uplift each other because none of us need to be on this journey alone. You don't have to face anything in this life by yourself. Nobody who has been successful, no one who has become successful has done it by themselves. And they can say they got it out the mud by themselves all they want to, but somebody fronted them something. Somebody gave them something to help them get along the way, believe me. And I told you, it is your God-given right. It is your human right to be connected to people who want to help you. And oftentimes, it doesn't take but one person sometimes to change your life. But as a young person, you need to be open to it. Don't look around and say, these old folks don't know what they're talking about. They're not even on social media, woody-woo. And you don't want to believe in them. Trust me, these older folks who've been here, they know experience. Again, grass withers and the flowers fade, but the word of the Lord, it stays the same. Okay, so Isaiah, he gets his job. Now he's starting to believe in God. Now even when he goes to play basketball, he's praying. He's like, God, I know that I only need to be out here for a few minutes, so work with me while I'm out here. So he starts to take more responsibility at the job. Now he doesn't have time to go home and just play the game all day. Doesn't have time to go play basketball. Then he goes to this coffee shop, and he's not totally transformed yet, but he sees this pretty girl working behind the counter. So he walks up to her, try to holler at her a little bit and talk to her, But at this point, Isaiah he ain't got it all together yet. And so the dad comes out from behind the counter. He said, I think not. Not that Isaiah was sagging his pants below his waist or anything, but it was his mindset. His mindset wasn't ready yet. At least that man didn't think that his mindset was ready for his daughter. Okay, so again, Isaiah starts to take more responsibility at the job. He becomes a leader. So Mr. Joseph, the owner of the company, he ends up having to go out of town. They have an emergency business meeting they need to take care of, but they also have a large shipment fulfillment order that they need to have fulfilled. So somebody has to be a leader to help that company fulfill this order so that they can then get a 5-year contract from this multi-million-dollar contract. But they had to fulfill this order. They had a need that they had to complete. All the while, Isaiah, he's taking more responsibility for his own actions. He's learning what he did that wasn't productive, and now he's learning that there are some things that are more productive that I can be doing, okay? So they go out of town, the wife and the owner, Mr. Joseph, they go out of town. Isaiah says, you know what? This man poured into me. This gentleman poured into me so much that I'm going to be here and I'm going to make sure that this order is fulfilled, even if I have to do it by myself. But I just told you, you don't have to do anything by yourself. And if you're a leader, leadership is not just a title. Leadership is not just I'm going to talk about something and then I don't do it. Leadership is I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. So if I'm a leader, I'm going to stand right here next to you and I'm going to do this work. And so they got together, one person after the other. They say, you know what, Isaiah, I'm with you, dog. And then the next thing you know, another person say, Isaiah, I got you too. Isaiah, I got you. I'll be here. So the whole team worked through the night to fulfill that contract, fulfill that fulfillment, that order. So now, not only did they get the contract, it's more than for 5 years. Now they got it for 7 years. So when the Lord blesses you and when you give, when you're a genuine giver, like Brother Tariq was saying, God will give it back to you. And when he gives it to you, guess what it does? It multiplies. But it starts with a little faith in yourself. When we're talking about a mental wellness journey, I want you to, while you're going through these things, because I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that you're not going to go through anything. I'm not telling you that because you are in the church right now or because you're worshiping, I'm not going to tell you that if you're standing up and you got your hands up and you're worshiping God and you're crying, I'm not going to say that you won't go through anything in your life. How many of y'all who've been in church for the most part of your life have went through something in your life? How many of y'all came through that something? And how many of y'all know that God was with you the entire time? The entire time, because let me ask you this, how many of you can remember years ago when your grandmama used to sing in the choir stand, and she used to walk around that house singing her songs, and grandmama and mama used to read those scriptures to you, and they used to give you those words of affirmation? Those are the seeds that will keep you when you're older, and when you're going through these things, those are the very things that will keep you. I am not saying that your life will be perfect. And I'm not saying that even though you practice faithfulness every day that you will be perfect, because practice makes what? No, practice makes progress. Practice does not make perfect. You do not have to be perfect to be great. You do not have to be perfect to make an impact. You don't have to be perfect to walk in your purpose. But you do have to be present. You have to be perseverant. When things start going wrong, you need to have faith in yourself that you will find a way through. So Isaiah, he gets the job done. And then this is like months later, he goes back to the coffee shop, see the little shorty, you know what I'm saying? He holler at her again, like, what's up? You know, how you doing? She's like, I'm doing pretty good. You know, they have a nice conversation. Isaiah also wanted to get his college degree. So he ends up on the college campus. He applies for college. He gets accepted. Now he's studying business because he now has some real experience on how business works. So he decides that he's going to pursue a degree in business. And guess who he sees on that college campus? Yeah, he's seen that old lady. He's seen a girl on the campus. So, you know, they linked up, you know. And so at the end of the day, he got the girl. So you imagine what your goals are. Maybe he didn't start out with the goal to get a girlfriend. But see, when you're following Jesus, when you listen to him, and when you fall down but you get back up, God will continue to bless you in ways that you would not have imagined. You will see that God will open supernatural doors that no man can open. And I want to tell you that, again, this relates to my story, where I was, again, depressed. I was in my mid-20s, and I decided that I needed to go to counseling. I needed to go to therapy. And I promise you, that was one of the best things I had ever done. Because, again, sometimes it only takes one person. And I'm not saying that if you need counseling, if you need someone to talk to, that it needs to be an official therapist who's been licensed. It could be someone who gives you the space to give the effort to become better. Okay? Yes, you can go to therapy. You can sit down with someone, and maybe your insurance will cover it. Okay? Your insurance sometimes will maybe you only have to pay a copay of $25 or so per session. All right, I want to just keep it real. It's something that it can change your life. And it's okay to ask someone for help if you need help. Okay? You can also ask someone to pray. Now, I want to go into this real quick. Now, this might rub some adults the wrong way, but I want to be honest with you here. Be careful with how you talk to the kids today. Be careful. These kids are not made the same way we were made. And I'm not saying that they're made any less or any more than. But imagine the amount of information that we gathered in 1 week. It can take them 1 hour to get that information. 1 hour. They can be exposed, and they are exposed to things these days that we never would have thought of being exposed to until we became older adults. Am I talking right? So I want you to understand this, that the way that you speak to the children of today, because as human beings we are sensitive, it starts to register with their nervous system. And if you're coming at them with an aggressive tone and you're upset with them, you're mad all the time, and you're fussing at them, that their nervous system and their brain starts to register that. And so when you come back to speak to them again, that their brain and their nervous system is expecting aggression. And now they take that aggression out on the world. And then, they could be speaking with someone at school, and then they end up, talking to them the same way that you were talking to them. You don't want nobody talking to you like that, so you don't need to talk to them like that. Now, sometimes you got to, snatch a knot in them. I know what that means. I used to have to go out there and get a switch for my mama, for me. I know. But be mindful of how you present yourself to these children, because here's the thing. They will do what you do. You might say, do as I say and not as I do, but honestly, they're going to do what you do. The body language in your tone is actually more significant than what you say. Your body language is 55% of the language that you speak. So be mindful of how you stand when you approach a child. Be mindful of what you say to them, because any little word can turn them off. And as a teacher today, I get so upset when I see kids walking outside on the airport with these Beats by Dre headphones on. You can't even hear what anybody's saying. So as an adult and as an educator, that makes me upset. Boy, that grinds my gears when I see y'all walking around in public and I'm trying to get your attention and you can't even hear me because you got these headphones on. That's a safety issue. Young people, hear me. That's a safety issue. You should not be walking around anywhere with both of your headphones on. Now, if you're at home, if you're in a comforted space, okay, and there's not anything necessarily going on around you, then okay, have at it. But be very mindful when you're out and you're in school. If there's a lockdown that happens at school because there's a shooter on or near your campus, you need to hear what's going on. If you're walking in the store and you're in Walmart and you got these headphones on, people carry guns and they shoot up Walmart too. You need to know what's going on. If there's somebody stealing around you, you need to not be a part of that. You need to go ahead and make yourself far distance between you and the ones that's stealing. But also, parents, that's a fine line between getting your kid to do what it is you want them to do and them doing what they want to do. It is not my way or the highway no more. I mean, some households it is, but for the most part, with young people today, it's no longer my way or the highway, because they can then pick up their cell phone and they can show you that it ain't this way no more, mama. It ain't that way no more, daddy. So now this isn't a learning moment only for our young people, but this is a learning moment for the adults. And so I think I'm blessed to be in the generation that I'm in, and I'm pretty sure that there are multiple folks in here that can relate. I'm blessed to be a millennial because I was born and grew up in a special time where, yeah, we had technology, but if we were at a party, we didn't have people standing there recording people dancing the whole time. Somebody might have brought in a camcorder, and they might have got a bunch of blurry videos and pictures or something like that, but other than that, we enjoyed ourselves. When we were at a concert or something, we see a famous person, we were trying to get closer to the person. We weren't necessarily trying to, put it all on our phone. So we did have technology. If we got lost and we left a party or something like that, then we maybe could call somebody to come and pick us up. And so be mindful of how you're using your technology, how you're using your cell phones, okay? Now, all of us need support. All of us need support. So for those of us who care, when you are encouraging someone to share and be vulnerable about their mental wellness, about their mental health, be mindful that you do not rush them. Adults who are caregivers of children, hear me. When you give space for a young person to share how they are feeling and talk about their emotions, let them know that they are totally loved and that they can be authentic in who they need to be with you right now. That is so important that we understand that we have to create a space, an environment. You can't just expect a child to talk to you just because you said, come here, sit down, we about to talk. They might not be fully authentic with you. So if you are a person who cares, just be mindful that when you're giving them space, let them know that they are loved no matter what. The word says to present your mind and your body to God. So this means that mental wellness is a journey. This is the places that you go to, young people. The places you go affect your mental wellness. It's what you watch. It's what you listen to. It's what you eat. It's how you treat people. Let me ask you this. Young people, what's the golden rule? Treat people the way you want to be treated. However, I like to go by the platinum rule. That says treat people the way that they want to be treated. Treat people the way that they want to be treated. Now, everybody wants to be treated the same. And I'm sure that parents in here can attest to this. You have maybe one child that went one way and another child that went the other way, but you felt like, man, I was raising both of my children the way that they should go, but one of them just went another route. What you can continue to do is pray for them and let them know that you still love them no matter what. This is how you treat people. This is how you work. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. This is how you rest and how you speak and also your habits, okay? Lastly, here we go. We're going to do one quick group activity, okay? Your partners. You have your partners, right? I need you to decide between you and your partner whose birthday is closest to today. Between you and your partner, whose birthday is closest to today? All right, you get ready to share with your partner. The person whose birthday is closest to today, thinking about all of the things that have been discussed here, you have 20 seconds to brag about your life. You're talking about all the areas that you feel like you are doing good in, things that have been going great. The partner whose birthday is closest to today, you're going first. And then the other person, you're just listening for now. 20 seconds, brag about your life. Ready? Go. Time's up. Okay. The person who was listening, I hope that you were actually listening and not thinking about what you get ready to have for lunch. Because if you were, we just caught you. We about to catch you. You got 10 seconds. The person who was listening to summarize what your partner just said. 10 seconds. Go. Time's up. Okay. On a thumbs up or thumbs down scale, how well did your partner do summarizing just now? Okay, I see thumbs up for the most part. Okay. So if you were the person that was listening, in the case there are 3 people in a group, I want to give you an extra 10 seconds, so you got 30 seconds. And if you don't need that much time, then just continue to share with your partner. All right, 30 seconds. Brag about your life. Go. Time's Okay. Now, the people that were listening, you know what's happening. You're going to summarize what your partners just said. 10 seconds. Go. Time's up. Thumbs up or thumbs down. How did your partners do? Okay. Do me a favor, turn to your partner and tell them thank you for listening. I don't know why some of y'all was bowing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. So, now, I want you to look at letter B on your card. Letter B on your card. If you don't have a card, then just please share. Okay, letter B. All right, with your partner, just take 1 minute. All right, make sure both people get a chance to kind of speak. I would like for you to discuss what are the areas that you feel like you want more of. That's what letter B says on the card. If you don't have one, it says, what do you want more of? So just take a moment to kind of discuss that for a second. Take a couple more moments. Fifteen more seconds. Just continue to discuss. And let's come back together here. Would there be one person who would like to share some thoughts around what you want more of? Maybe one of our young folks here, maybe if you would like to real quick, we'll give you the microphone, and I'll just let you discuss what you feel about letter B.
Do you want me to stand up? Okay. Do I have to introduce myself? Okay. Well, my name is Courtney. I'm coming from Faith Temple number 1. Looking at letter B, something that I really want more of is I just graduated college, so what I really want is to have a stable job, so I can be able to help around with my younger brother and all those different things.
Yes. Thank you. Would there be one more? Young brother?
Morning. I'm also part of Faith Temple number 1. What I want is more encouragement. A lot of my friends don't really encourage me the way I want to be encouraged, so I really want some encouragement to fulfill my passion, which is theater. So yeah, more encouragement. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good. Yep.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jada Forbes. I circled on my paper what I want more of would be purpose, just to understand in life what I want to do more and my purpose while I'm in church as well. Yes.
Good. Now, first of all, what these young people just did, it took some courage, right? They actually were being vulnerable right now and transparent. They were telling us what they needed. And I can guarantee you that they were speaking not only for themselves, but also for the rest of the young people in here. And so I wanted to give an opportunity, if there is someone in here that wants to give some encouragement to either of the young people that just stood up, or if you have someone who has been in your church, it can be a younger person, someone who's more seasoned, but you want to just give them a youth convention shout out and give them that encouragement that they need, and maybe you will be there for them. I wanted to just give a quick moment for you to give a shout out. But here's
better than that. That's some of our own right there. And we want